Hey guys, Spencer again with Z1. This week we're going to talk about clutches. Z1 has been offering clutch and flywheel line for most of the vehicles in our catalog for a number of years, I would say approaching a decade, and something that we've sold a lot of, worked with a lot of, extremely familiar with, and we refined over the years to really be a good fit for most of the spectrum of support on the vehicles that we accommodate. So much so that I would say probably 95% of our customer base that's running cars with upgrades, daily commuter, restoration type, that we can accommodate with a conventional style clutch and flywheel replacement. We'll start our focus of discussion kind of broken down on parts, but we'll just talk about flywheels first, being the first thing at the motor. Most of our line is going to have some similar features on construction or performance enhancements that are universal, like the construction of our flywheels. Usually we'll have a lightweight that's about 50% the weight of the original factory part. That's going to do a huge improvement for response and horsepower freed up in the high end as we rev the car out. Construction-wise, we try to stay pretty similar to OEM tolerances for height, offset, the pin mounting, diameter, and hardware specifications. What that means is if you wanted to run a stock clutch on our flywheel, we've stayed to OEM specs so that you can. Same thing other way. If you want to run one of our clutches on an OEM flywheel, it'll flip both ways as well. So some manufacturers don't do that. They may cut down material costs when they're making their blanks by going with a thinner clutch or flywheel, and it may shorten the entire stack. It can cause some indesirables if you are mixing or matching or don't have a perfect match setup. Even long-term down the road, say you've gone 100K and you're going to resurface your flywheel and go back around for another use, but maybe you're buying a different clutch or something because you're in a pinch. It'd be nice to know that you can grab OE stuff if needed, or most other comparable, reputable, competitive parts would work with it as long as they meet the OEM spec. So something we tried to do. Construction-wise, though, all our flywheels feature one-piece construction, integrating the ring gear out of 4140 chromoly steel. They are forged into shape, followed by heat treatment. Then they go to machine. After that, gas nitride coating and a final polish on the friction surface. What that does is makes them incredibly strong, and we would say up to the task of most any of our usage by clients. So we're very happy about that. It gives them a really long service life. The gas nitride coating, in particular, one of the features that makes the material harder, even on the resurface buff finish, it actually permeates the metal quite a few thousandths to make it harder. So it's going to make the hard parts last longer. In a harsh environment with upgraded friction materials or puck disc, anything we can do to extend the life is something we're happy to do. Make it worth the cost. So nice features there. Ring gears all will come chamfered as needed with appropriate spacing, so starter engagement should be fine, and you're never going to have to worry about a ring gear coming loose like on, say, some aluminum flywheels on the market we've seen that on. So thicknesses on the mounting bosses remain all the same. OEM fasteners will work just fine with all of our flywheels and clutches, and in fact we reuse them almost always here. We don't find appropriate or any reason to have to buy new hardware. A lot of people live by that. We live reusing the OEM stuff every day. So you can save some money there. Just for reference, on our 300ZX NA flywheels, make it down into the 9 pound and change range versus 21. Turbo flywheels, about 11 pounds versus factory's 22. On the VQ platform, Nissan went to a dual mass flywheel design, which is significantly heavier. They included multi-piece steel with a dampener in between. It was something to give the cars enough momentum on the back of the crank to keep idling smooth and quiet, and dampened to hide a lot of the gear noise from the transmissions. So we actually offer two different weight flywheels for each of those applications. A factory VQ35DE or rev-up flywheel is known to weigh about 27, 28 pounds, and we offer a lightweight flywheel that's about 14 pounds and a midweight flywheel that's about 21 pounds. On the late model 350Z and G parts that go into the HR or VHR dual throttle body engines, Nissan upped the weight on the dual mass to 31 pounds to reduce noise and improve right off the idle torque. We offer again two different flywheels, one at 14 and one at 21 pounds. So why the different weights on the VQ flywheels, you may ask? That's a good question. Strictly, we made it to accommodate more of the street drivers that have concerns with chatter. Chatter is something that's more pronounced on that late model aluminum engine and drivetrain that we notice with related to transmission noise. It's gear noise that's coming back out of the undercar that you hear. The lighter the weight the parts we go, the more pronounced it is. It's not anything that's overly intrusive, but if you're sensitive to noise, you should be aware of it. Personally, I don't mind it. I think the trade-off for the lighter parts is the best, but if you're sensitive, sometimes a mid-weight's a little better. So a little bit more weight, on the Flywheel helps us ride off idle. If you sit in traffic every day and you're stop, go, a little bit weight makes it easier to drive. Also a little bit quieter. So to complement our Flywheels, we offer an array of clutches from our mild configuration, street performance, on up to what we call the road race kits. These are going to accommodate different disc variants as well as an array of different clamp loads. General rule is that our mild kits are going to handle most street and sport usage for an NA bolted car with mild upgrades. On the turbo application for Z32, we would say a stock turbo car, mostly bolted with upgrades, as well. So we offer an array of discs that can accommodate that. They'll take different levels of abuse, temperature range. They also have unique characteristics on friction and how they bite, how they hold. Our most common is the standard in our kits you're going to see is our full-faced sprung hub design. This is going to feature splined hub similar to factory spec, dampened intermediate body that features 4 heavier upgraded springs, an enhanced friction surface, high torque rivets, and an improved plate to hold the springs captive. There are a handful of manufacturers that do this in a different method that don't fully box the spring, and it can lead to failure and ejection of these springs, which will disable your ability to have a clutch. It'll be locked up, and you'll be enjoying that with a stuck clutch and a very firm pedal that you can't get to disengage. So little details, things you're going to find in most of our clutch applications that many other people may try and advertise big numbers, capabilities about their clutches and all the stages. We don't do that here. We just try to feature good quality parts that are good balance and support you for the long haul. Okay, so our standard kit is going to feature that sprung hub enhancement. Okay. My favorite disc is going to be this unsprung hub full face lining. This is still a great disc, can be street driven, good slip characteristic for engagement, nice progressive bite. It's not like an on-off switch or anything like that. Features a little bit of weight removed without the sprung hub design. We don't see problems with it. Features include, again, matched hardness on the hub, so we don't see a regular wear or anything that beats up our input shaft and costs us a lot of money in the long run. Also, it's not going to get worn out and get all loose and sloppy in the car and develop a bunch of lash when you're driving it. If you've ever been in a car like that, you know how much it sucks. Won't suck. So this is my favorite. Other small features with it is that design on the med plate is that Marshall Spring has some reverse torque protection, same as our sprung hub design, but if you miss a downshift and try to go to 4th and maybe grab 2nd, the clutch is made to give way rather than your engine, hopefully. So that's a nice feature. You can still abuse this heavily. I track these kind of discs all the time, and it's really my favorite. We'll still have a sprung Marshall spring. That means that the thickness of the disc is actually cushioned by the spring it's mounted to, and that makes engagement a bit easier. Same on the Sprung Hub Clutch. So unsprung full face, it's my favorite. A bit lighter, still same capability on hold. I've seen cars make over 600 with that kind of disc here, and my fave. Beyond that, if you're really aggressive, constant drag launches, clutch kicks, maybe we are making 600 horsepower and we are really abusive with it, we may want to look at something like our 6-puck. Again, we feature heavy-duty rivets, boxed spring design. We use a carbonic material. A lot of people see this, they say cerametallic. It's not similar. This has maybe just a hair less capability than cerametallic, but the friction coefficient is much improved and a nice slip characteristic, so it's smooth. Good engagement for driving. If you're in traffic all the time, the wear rate on this against hard parts, whether it's the flywheel or the casting on the pressure plate, is going to be accelerated, so we don't generally expect to see 100,000 miles out of that kind of scenario, but that's the trade-off for dealing with it if we're in the scenario to hold the power and just, no cares to give, if you may. So that's 6-puck. You may notice we have different styles, from crimp style, conventional, rivet, radius contact or flat contact diaphragm springs. All our kits are going to come complete and include the appropriate parts you need. Generally, we also like to feature that we focus on high quality OEM grade throwout bearings, so you'll find that our kits include a genuine Koyo throwout bearing, not a counterfeit. That is a rampant problem in the industry of clutches, and we're proud to say that we don't feed into that. The few dollars that can be made by selling a counterfeit bearing in a kit versus getting a genuine there, we know we don't ever have to worry about, is totally worth it. Most of the bearings like this style you'll see are self-aligning, which means the race can move around and get centered and operate correctly on the bearing. That's normal over the pressure plates. So proud to offer that. Many of our kits come standard, have an option to add a SS clutch line. If you're going with an upgraded clutch that has a higher clamp load, it means the force it takes to release it's going to be improved as well. If you have an old tired factory rubber line, it's probably a good time to go ahead and replace it. Just avoid the chance of having it ballooning and not getting good release. So SS clutch lines, if you're in something that's seeing high abuse, one of our thermal barrier lines with a reflective coating, it may be a good improvement to have. If you've got exhaust down there that's not heat shielded, or we're making double the power or something, use an extended use or abuse on your track car, reflective barrier line be a big improvement. OE grade pilot bushing can be included on our kits, as well as an alignment tool. And that pretty much wraps up the kit. So have these offered independently. The clutch combos, disc options, offer them with flywheel combo as well at reduced price. Try to keep all these parts in stock, and guys on staff to answer questions if you have them. If you have more questions, feel free, ask below. We'll try and clarify anything we didn't cover. Thanks, guys.